This is the I Read Comic Books podcast, and this is a very special edition minisode. We asked our listeners to donate in support of the protests against racial injustice, and with a donation from Tom, aka Stingo, Nick and I are here to talk about. We're here to talk about snacks. Nick, I don't know how we got here, but quite honestly, we said that we would talk about anything, and Tom is making us talk about snacks. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right to put a question at the end of that. I mean, Tom, we said we will do a mini-sode on whatever topic, assuming it's not something that we deem objectionable. And
this was close, though. This was close.
After everything that happened, it might have been deemed objectionable. Yes,
yeah, that's true.
The road to arrive at recording this episode was not quite as straight or narrow as we thought it would be. We thought it would be, come up with a list of things, order the list of things, and then record an episode. And mostly on your end, we had some interesting difficulties.
And there's something to be said because, we only have 25 minutes to talk about this, but we got to go into it. Because Nick, I remember we talked about this offline and we were just like, okay, you wanted to find something that was going to be easy for everybody to get, easy for me to get in specific, because we have a list. We're going to go through them. Don't worry. They're in the show notes. And we wanted to make sure that people were going to be able to get in. I was like, cool, I can find all this stuff online. I'll make an order on Amazon, and it should be here in a couple of days, and then we can record it. And this was like early July or something, like mid-July or something. And I was like, yeah, let's make this happen. And lo and behold, Amazon completely lost one of my packages. I still don't know where it is. I still don't, Amazon has no idea what happened. USPS has no idea what happened. There is a box full of Diet Coke, iced tea, and a bunch of snacks just sitting somewhere in a warehouse. So I don't have that box. So I had to make another order, and we had to cut one of the items off the list because I just couldn't find it, because apparently they just stopped making it or something on the East Coast. Myself and a couple other people on the Discord were having problems getting these things mailed to them. So so we had these Hawaiian chips that were going to be on the list, and now they aren't because I don't know how to find them in New York City, the greatest city in the world. For some reason, can't get these chips. So I don't know. Nick, tell us about what we're doing today. So
it was put to me to come up with a list of some of my favorite snacks. I think Tom, especially amongst others, have noticed on the Discord and probably on episodes as well that I have a certain fondness for snacks. That's partially because they are a really poor replacement for actually eating meals, and yet that doesn't stop me. So
it's all carbs and corn, Nick.
All carbs, all corn, genetically modified. That's how you know it's good. So I came up with a list and sort of strove for a list that I thought would be accessible for most people shopping online, especially given the current situation, as well as a list of things that were not too expensive and also, relatively not hyper regional or hyper obscure. That didn't stop us from having problems, but we tried.
I mean, and the range of snacks that you eat go from super cheap to incredibly expensive. That's what the implication was there, right?
Right. It's super limited runs of hyper, local potato chips that run for $15 an ounce or something. No.
Right.
So, I mean, without further ado, I think we can get into some of these and discuss why I picked them. And apologies to those who may or may not have this turn into something of an ASMR snacking episode. I will try to keep it to a minimum, but at least you don't have to visually see me stuffing my face. So I suppose there's a positive there. So
yeah, what's this list, Nick? Let's get into it, because I'm ready to be fucking angry about a couple of them.
Do we want to outline the list first, or just start breaking it down as we go through?
Well, the list there, it's in the show notes, so people can focus on that if they want to get it. So let's just start with the first one.
Okay, so we're going to start with the first item on my list, which is extra toasty Cheez-Its. Okay. These are a relatively recent addition to the Cheez-It line. I am a hardcore Cheez-It junkie. I love the Pepper Jack Cheez-Its, but I also was trying to somewhat avoid putting spice on this list because obviously not everybody loves spice. And I was just trying to be a little bit sensitive towards that.
Right, we aren't going to have some hot Cheetos and Takis on this list,
exactly. You know, I like some of these things, but I tried to make my list a little less polarizing. So, again, extra toasty Cheez-Its, pretty new. I think at first there's a real temptation with these to say they taste a lot like the original, but like once you have a lot of them, which maybe isn't how they're supposed to. Once you eat a half a box in a sitting, that's when it strikes you that they're different, or that you don't care that they're different and you're going to finish the box. I find them, they taste more like, I mean, as it's fitting, they taste more like toasted bread and they seem more filling, which is maybe, I guess, the appeal, which is, if you like Cheez-Its, but you want to find a creative psychological way to stop yourself from eating way too many of them, you might want to go with these.
Okay, counterpoint to like a lot of these points that you're making. I can't. These don't taste like bread. They taste like burnt cheese, and burnt cheese tastes fantastic. I don't think that they're extra filling. I think you're just more likely to eat more of them because they are better than regular Cheez-Its. So I'm just want to throw that out there.
Your counterpoint is you're going to still eat just as much.
Well, like I haven't had these in a long time. I think I bought a box of them once on accident, and I was like, oh, these are pretty good. And then I don't eat snacks that often. I should say I do eat snacks that often, but they come in two varieties. There is beef jerky, and I only eat like large slab beef jerky because I'm a crazy person. And then I eat barbecue Fritos and combos. I guess there's 3 varieties. That's it. So for this episode is wild because, I mean, I love Cheez-Its. When I was a kid, I used to come home from school and I would grab a box of Cheez-Its and I would just go to town doing the terrible, awful, gross thing of like taking the Cheez-It, scraping the puffy part off with your teeth to get all the salt and crumbs, and then eating the wet Cheez-It. Nick, it's a wild story. We can't go into it because we have to move on to the next item. We only have so much time, and we're already at almost 8 minutes, so we got to move on to the next one. But toasty Cheez-Its, I mean, they get a +1 from me. I love Cheez-Its to death. They're my favorite thing.
Okay, yeah. So, I like those a lot. I think if you are a fan of Cheez-Its and you want to just try something new that's not a real departure, I think this is right within sort of the comfort zone wheelhouse of people that don't want, especially if you don't want to get into the powdery Cheez-Its, this is a great way to avoid the powdery Cheez-Its, which are a whole nother thing. I could do a whole episode on those. So the next item on the list is... let's go with Life cereal. I know this one's polarizing. I'm just going to get it right out of the way.
God fucking damn it.
So for me, like, cereal is perfect because I think there are a lot of people who go cereal is for breakfast. And for me, cereal is like, it's best to not like associate it with a meal because for me, cereal could be breakfast. Cereal's a great snack. Cereal could be dinner if you're having a real fun day. For me, Life cereal is perfect, I think, because it gives the illusion of being good for you, and yet if you compare the sugar content with a lot of other cereals, it's maybe only slightly better for you. So, I think it's not too sweet. It doesn't have a lot of the super fake marshmallow stuff going on with it. I think it's... I like the crunch that comes with it. So, for me, this is like my perfect snackable cereal. I think probably my second would be Quaker oatmeal squares, I think is what it's called. So,
what the hell kind of hellscape life do you live in that cereal is a snack? I don't understand this. You said this to me, and then I brought it up to Kelly, and I was like, Nick's fucking crazy. And she looked at me and said, I love eating cereal as a snack. And my entire life turned upside down, okay? This is the wildest phenomena that I've ever featured or under. Yes, Kelly, she's waving at me right now. Yeah, those are the words that you use. So all I want to say is I've never considered cereal to be a snack. Cereal is a breakfast time food only, maybe late night snack if you're feeling adventurous. What the hell is up with people eating cereal multiple times a day? Needless to say, I'd never had Life cereal before we did this or decided to do this episode. And I will say I'm surprised. It's not bad. But I will say that I prefer if I was going to eat cereal as a snack because I'm a fucking insane human being, this is the cereal I would go with. I would choose Frosted Mini Wheats because I'm a monster. So because I love Frosted Mini Wheats, period. I just think they're great. And there's enough sugar and enough fiber in them that it feels like they're offsetting each other and it's somehow healthy. So if I had to pick what it would be that. But Life cereal is actually pretty good. I think it's pretty tasty. I think it would make a really good breakfast cereal to eat as cereal, but eating dry, it's just like sugary corn starch. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think my logic here is that so many cereals out there, and by that I mean all of the ones you should be eating, are arguably so bad for you that we shouldn't even, maybe I'm the one who's like freeing cereal from the obligation of being a breakfast thing, because if it's truly that bad for you, then maybe it's not what you should be eating in the morning. And so I guess maybe my whole agenda here is like, hey, cereal's actually not good for you, but you should still be eating it. You just shouldn't be eating it for breakfast. You should be starting your day with something that's better for you, and then just eat cereal at other points. So I didn't think I was going to inadvertently turn this into some sort of like a nutritional light bulb moment of like,
I'm glad that you think that that's what's happening here, because the next 4 snacks are far from healthy, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of these should not be consumed for or be confused with being a breakfast thing or any meal, or maybe even be consumed in any capacity.
I mean, they are good snacks.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know what? Okay, maybe I see your point. Like, Life cereal should be a snack, not a meal. I get that. I can respect that. But then again, if you eat about 5 Triscuits out of this, whatever Triscuit we talk about first, either one of those will make you not want to eat food ever again. So, I don't know. Let's move on to the next snack.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So the next thing on my list are the Simply Cheetos Puffs White Cheddar. And I will say this is an important distinction for people that are out there getting these snacks. Do not confuse the Simply Cheetos Puffs White Cheddar with the Simply Cheetos Puffs White Cheddar Jalapeno. Okay.
Yes, they look very similar.
They look very similar, and unlike a lot of these like Frito-Lay snacks that are like, oh, this is hot, oh, this is spicy, the Simply Cheetos Puffs White Cheddar Jalapeno are actually, as advertised, pretty dang hot. So do not make that mistake of confusing the two, and especially if you're not into spice, you're going to be for a world of hurt.
I mean, Cheetos don't mess around in general when it comes to spice. When the Cheetos bag says it's spicy, I 100% believe it. Like, it's the most, like, it's a measure of actual heat when they have like extra spicy or mild and stuff. Like, they're not bullshitting you.
Right. So, the bag we're talking about is orange. The hot bag is green. Don't confuse them. Yeah. Or if you want to do what I do, they look identical. So it's a lot of fun to sneak some of the jalapeno ones into the normal bowl and then serve them to other people.
Or in quarantine times, just to yourself, just to have a little
or in
adventure.
Quarantine, just like, yeah. I mean, actually, honestly, it's not. If you want a little spice and you want to, liven up your day to day, sprinkle a couple of the jalapeno ones in. They look identical. It's a lot of fun. This is how we make our fun in quarantine. So I'm just going to grab 1 or 2 of these. And I know some people are going to say, Nick, I notice you've got 2 kind of Cheetos Puffs things on this list. Yeah, so what? Fuck off. Look, I would have put more Triscuits on. I would have put more Cheez-Its on. But
I agree with this list because I actually like the comparison, right? This is the thing that I maybe in hindsight, what we should have done is we should have done like a compare and contrast, because I like the ability to compare the 2 Triscuits. I like the ability to compare the 2 like cheese puffs to discuss the like, I don't know, like the texture. I mean, we're not going to get into that, but I do like talking. I mean, I think that's why the next one should be the aged cheddar ones, just so we can talk about the difference. Because to me, the Cheetos taste like richer flavored Cheetos. They don't taste orange. They taste like actual cheddar, but they still have a distinct cheddar or Cheetos taste, right?
Right.
Versus like the orange Cheetos, which taste like the color that they look like. You know it's cheese, but you also know that it is neon fucking orange.
You know it's cheese, but also that it might have quotes around the word cheese.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you're right. There's sort of I kind of put them here to kind of make a juxtaposition or a comparison with the Pirate's Booty. Also because the Pirate's Booty is a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit harder to find. So I at least wanted people to have an option if they couldn't get their hands on the Pirate's Booty, which I think it's like $5 a bag, and I can easily kill a bag in a night. It's not hard. It's really fucking
unless you're a
hard.
dummy like me and you order on Amazon and you're like, oh yeah, I'll just get two of these bags because Nick said so, and I didn't realize that they were the 32-ounce bags. So I got
not a mistake. You didn't make a mistake.
Fucking bags of Pirate's Booty. Anyways, Nick, we have to move on to the next one.
So let's move on to Pirate's Booty just for the sake of juxtaposition.
Yeah.
So these they're a little bit harder to find. I don't think they're actually regional, but I do think they're just more difficult to get. And what I call the real bag, not like the 1 ounce bags or whatever, the real bag tends to go for like $5. So it's a little bit more expensive. But I absolutely love these. They're kind of little smaller half curls. They absolutely smell like white cheddar. They're super like pungent white cheddar. But I absolutely love these, especially, sometimes some of them taste a little bit drier than others, but other ones just seem like they're absolutely drenched in the powdery cheddar. They have this fantastic crunch to them, like where, it's just sort of like you're like chomping it down and then you hit like a point in the curl where it's like somehow it's like super dense and there's this like really satisfying like hard crunch. And if
more
it's
so than
not
a Cheez-It, or excuse me, more so than a Cheeto bar, I guess, or whatever you want to call them.
Oh yeah, I mean the Cheetos, kind of, for better or for worse in some ways, they sort of have the shape and consistency of like packaging peanuts. I'm not saying they taste like that, but they certainly, for all of my limited experiences eating packaging peanuts, which we can do a whole nother show on, me attempting to digest all of the different ways that people safeguard my Amazon packages.
Right.
We'll do one as I eat through all of those inflatable, air pockets. So that's not going to happen, guys. I'm not going to eat packaging. Don't worry. I'm not advocating eating inedible things. All right. So I really like these a lot.
I can't stop eating them.
Really satisfying crunch. If it's not a satisfying crunch, you might need to go see your dentist. Something else might have happened.
I mean, these things are interesting because I'd never had them before. And I don't normally eat like Cheetos style things. Like, honestly, like even the white cheddar, the Cheetos, they're good, but I don't think I could eat more than I really have to. Like, Kelly has been mowing down on these things because she loves Cheetos. I'm not really a fan of like cheese puffs in general. But these aged cheddar Pirate's Booty ones, they're actually pretty tasty. I have to cut myself off from them because they're very good. But then afterwards, you kind of just feel like you ate a pound of cheese. So also be forewarned about that.
I mean, they're super light, and so I usually don't feel. I mean, that's the problem. That's why I go through the bag. Like I'll pour like a third of the bag into a bowl, and first off, it doesn't take up that much space, and then I kill the bowl. And then I'm like, well, I guess I better go back. The only thing that keeps me from like absolutely destroying these all the time is that, and I don't know if you've noticed this, the way that the bag is packaged, like it's got one of those like tear open spots where you like pull the hole open in the middle of it to basically run it. And so when you try to pour it out of the top of the bag isn't well and truly open. So like a lot of them catch. It's really annoying.
This is if you get the extra large bags, by the way, because I did get a smaller bag of these at one point, unrelated to this podcast. I had apparently had these before. Kelly bought them out of the blue, and they do make them in smaller size bags that open like a regular bag, but the large ones have like a resealable top that is not at the top of the bag, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's very weird. And if you're trying to like go full throttle snacking, which I guess I just made a term, and I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that.
Yeah,
it becomes a problem. But yeah,
right.
I thoroughly enjoy these. If you're willing to, try something that's a little bit more white cheddar-y than maybe what you're used to, and you're willing to pay a little bit more than maybe you normally would, although I don't know what your normal is. Maybe your normal is caviar, then you'll be fine. So
this is chump change. Anyways,
exactly.
Nick, we got to move on.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the last two items, which are both Triscuits. Let's do... go ahead and pick, Mike. Which one do you want to do first?
I want to talk about the smoked Gouda because I don't know if I love these or hate these, and every time I eat one, it's a decision between every crunch of my teeth. I cannot tell if I like the smoked Gouda one. So, Nick, go ahead and talk about these. I don't know where I sit with them. And I know that I should have
one there. Yeah,
I should have waited for Nick to finish eating his because
just remind me. Yeah,
I've been eating these on and off for the past week, and every time I bite into one of these, I'm just like, why did I do this? And by the end of the individual Triscuit, I go, that's actually pretty good. And I eat another one, I go, oh, what the fuck is happening? All over again. So I know that at one point we were talking about this on the Discord, and Tom had mentioned that he was trying these, and he was like, they're so rich. And I was like, they can't be that rich. I was like, put a nice jelly on it. And then I tried that, and it doesn't help. Nothing helps. Nothing can escape the smoked Gouda flavor of these fucking Triscuits.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of... You're not wrong. I think at first I really, really enjoyed these, but now that other people have been pointing this out, I do think it's true that every time you eat one, you're kind of like, I'm not sure why I bought these. And yet you finish it and then you're like, this is okay. I'll have another. And then the cycle just repeats.
Yeah.
I do think it's a pretty good fake smoked Gouda flavor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think one of the, and I should point this out, when I am talking about enjoying, if you want to call it enjoying the Triscuits on this list, I am eating them with nothing on them. I'm not changing them.
Same.
I'm not doing any of that bullshit on the back of the box where they're just like, oh, why don't you get out some charcuterie and put some, cheese and meats and stack some jellies and pickled herrings or whatever on them. I'm not doing that. I'm eating snacks. I'm not the whole point of snacks is to avoid the effort that you make during meals. So I'm not going to do anything additional. That's bullshit. What is the point then? What is even the point?
The point is that the fucking serious flavor of these Triscuits are offset by other things, and it creates a good flavor overall. I mean, this smoked Gouda, I can't imagine what would go with it. I want to put a meat on it, like a salami or a prosciutto or even a vegetable of some kind. Put a cucumber with a smear of a dill sauce or something underneath. That might be good, but eating these things on their own, it's so overpowering to everything of all of your senses.
And I think that's probably the one thing I would point out to maybe our listeners who aren't quite the Triscuit head that I am. I mean, I guess that's the organization I've now formed. I'm a Triscuit head. Is that I think especially people who don't eat these, and especially people who maybe only eat normal Triscuits, is that the flavors of their flavored Triscuits are actually really remarkably strong. And I think they're going to be stronger than most people would assume. They're discernible, they're pretty loud. And I think the other thing that I appreciate is that they're pretty distinctive from one another. If I ate all of these different types of Triscuits at least once, and then you mixed them up and you gave them to me and made me identify which one is which, I feel pretty confident I could actually do it. I don't think that would be a bridge too far. Yeah. So I like these a lot. I really like the other ones on our list, which we'll go to now, which are the avocado, cilantro, and lime Triscuits. So
I'm so glad that these are the last ones on the list, because this is the box that I've been forcing myself to stop eating of all of them. The one snack that I keep coming back to are these avocado or these cilantro lime, kind of spicy, kind of limey, kind of very, I don't know. There's a lot of really, really good flavor. And as soon as the Triscuit hits your tongue, you are in that flavor palette. No matter how little or how much you actually eat of a single Triscuit of this flavor, it takes over your entire mouth, and it's fantastic. I don't want to put anything on this. I want to dip them for some reason, like in a queso, or maybe put again like some cheese just on top to kind of like mix in. But on their own, I would eat these all day. Like I'm going to buy another box of these or more just as a snack, because I think of all of these snacks, I mean, the Cheez-Its, I love to death. I'll always love Cheez-Its, but I think as far as new snacks in my life, this is the one. These cilantro lime Triscuits are in fucking incredible.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that. I sort of picked these on a whim. Normally, when I buy my snacks, usually it's like 80% tried and truth things, and then it's like 20% let's try new stuff. And about a month and a half ago, this was sort of my let's try something different item. But of course, it's not truly different, right? It's still a Triscuit. It's a variation on a theme. We as humans like change, but what we really like is the illusion of change. So I suppose that's what this is. Deep psychoanalysis over here. What I like about these a lot is that they're spicy, but they're not like hot spicy. They're like peppery spicy. Like there's like a real peppery, and I think that's either what is meant to taste like cilantro or is actually cilantro. I didn't look at the ingredients to confirm whether or not I assume they're probably trying to give the flavor, and it's not actually real cilantro. But it's got that peppery.
That's fine by me though, because it's so good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I love them so much. It's definitely like a weird taste. If you're trying to eat other things, it's going to stick around. So just be aware. It's not going to go away. I think they're good, but they're also peppery enough that like you can't go insane with these, I think, because it's just the pepper starts to build up. I also really like these because I think that they're polarizing enough of a snack that, and maybe this is true for some people, maybe it's not true for others. Like if you have other people that you're worried about like cutting into your snacks, and so by that I mean a spouse, someone you live with, someone who
your fucking nephew who just won't stop eating off your plate,
right? Whatever like it is, like these are a great choice because I think they're polarizing enough that other people are either going to be turned off by the spice or just like the really strong taste that you can snack in peace with these and not worry about other people, rolling into the kitchen cupboard at night and being like, oh, these look good. Like those moments might not happen. Or at the very least, they're going to look at the box, go, ooh, I don't know about that, and never be the wiser about the fact that they're missing out on something absolutely fantastic. So
I highly recommend these too. I think it's if you have the flavor, if you like things that have a stronger citrus flavor in a chip or a Triscuit, if you like Triscuits, I mean, this is great. But Nick, that is all the time we have for today. I can't believe that we did 6. I can't believe we almost had 7. I don't think we would have been able to do it in time. So thank you so much for putting this list together. And I know that it was very much a joke that became a reality, and so this is a really fun experience.
A joke that became a reality that ended up being taken far too seriously.
Yeah, exactly. This is really cool. Thank you again, Tom, for your donation. It really means a lot to us that you would be willing to donate to a cause that is so important in order for us to put something like this together. So if you want to go do that, you can go donate $25 or more. We've got a whole Google Doc that's attached to our Twitter profile. You can check that out, and we'll make an episode about pretty much anything that you want. Until next time, I want to say thank you to Nick and Tom again, for doing this whole thing. Thank you to Xander, our editor. Thank you to Infinity Shred, the best band in the universe. And until next time, comics are good, and so are you. That really doesn't fit for this episode, but it's still true regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.